Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a new layout to share for Bella Boulevard. I'm using the To the Moon collection, which is actually one of my favourite collections. I'm always a sucker for anything that's good for little boys because I have two of them. I also have a girl, but she likes space and stuff too. I have decided to go for one of the cutouts. Now, these are really very cool. Funnily enough, I've been on the Bella Boulevard team for nearly a year now, and this is actually the first time I've used one of these. I've had them here sitting there, but I've never had an assignment to use them, and this one was generic, so I thought I would just go for it. I've got the Love You to the Moon cutout, which I believe is designed to go with this collection, the To the Moon collection. It's a really, basically what they are, they're kits that are a pre-cut cut file. And they come with a template. So you can see the template there, the bottom left corner of my screen. What you do is you cut out the letters on the template or the shapes on the template, and then you use those to cut out your pattern papers that will go behind your cut file and backfill. Normally when I'm backfilling a cut file, what I would do is I would either cut the middle parts on my silhouette, or if I hadn't had the foresight to do that. Quite often I don't have the foresight to do that at the time. I cut the cut files before I know what collection I'm going to use. Then what I would do is I would draw around each letter individually onto the paper that I wanted to backfill it with, and then I would cut it out. So these templates actually really make things a bit easier. So what you do is you rough cut them out, and then you place them on top of your piece of paper and just hold them together, and then you cut round the lines. So then you have your perfect backfilled piece, and you only have to cut once really. So I did rough cut out the letters first into block shapes. Just so they were easier to handle. But you can see what I'm doing. I've worked out what colour is going to go in which letter. I've rough cut the letter. I've rough cut a piece to go of pattern paper to go with it, and then I've laid them all on top of the cut file itself, so I can see what it looks like. And now I'm going through and cutting out each one carefully, and then I will glue them in place. So I'll glue them in place with a wet PVA glue. There are recommended glue pens and things, but I don't have any of those. I've only got the normal PVA. So I've skipped forward a little bit now. You can see I'm having a bit of a crisis as to what background to use. I started off with the one with the constellations all over it, which I really liked the look of. But then I was worried that it was a bit too busy. So I decided to go for the red, which was one of the, I think it was from the To the Moon collection. Yeah, the one with the red hearts all over it. And then that didn't quite look right either. So now I've gone to I'm going to backfill the cut file and then worry about the background in a minute once it's all done. So right, you can see that I'm just finishing off the last few letters, getting it all stuck in place. So this is the cut file turned over, and I'm just using my PVA glue in a fine applicator bottle to add the glue to the back of the cut file and then add my pieces on. Now, if you're not a very good fussy cutter, I'm not particularly accurate, you see, like me. If you're like me and you're not particularly accurate, then it might be that you still need to trim some of the letters after you've finished the backfilling process. What I do is I just simply turn over the cut file and have a look and see if I have any that is poking over the top. Now, the templates that come with the cutouts are really good because they're slightly smaller than the outside edge of the cut file itself. So if you trim to exactly the template, you should have exactly the right size. I think I had a few bits where my corners weren't quite right because the corners are slightly rounded and I had just cut them to right angles. Yeah, looking pretty good. I'm really happy with how it's looking. Here we go. I'm still going on with my crisis of what background to use. I decided that black looked best, but I used to have this really great cardstock. I think it's called Pepper, and it's a textured Swiss dot style black cardstock. Well, unfortunately, the only two sheets I have left have been crumpled. My 3-year-old has been at them. So Anyway, this piece of paper to the rescue. So this is exactly the type of look I was looking for, which is, you know, like a tone-on-tone pattern that reads as a solid, but it's a bit more interesting than just plain black. So this is from the To the Moon collection. So I'm pleased that I've already used one of these sheets, so I'm pleased I had another sheet, but that's it, it's all gone now. And I've just splattered white paint all over it. I've used a paint shaker. It's not a shaker actually. It's a Liquitex acrylic marker, and it's a very thick tip. And I just get them from Amazon. But you can shake it and it will shake paint everywhere. Quite often I will just pump it and then pick up the paint with a paintbrush. But because I was looking to cover a large area in the white paint, I thought I would shake it today. It gets a bit rogue. Quite often I end up with it all over me, my computer, my workstation, my cardigan, you know, and it doesn't come off either. So that's why a paintbrush is a bit more controlled. Okay, so I have put foam pads all over the back of my cut file, and then I've stuck it to the background. Now, it's a very large cut file. It's exactly 12 by 12, or sorry, 12 inches tall. But it has a slight angle to it, or my one did anyway. So I wanted the word love at the top to be straight, which made my moon crooked at the bottom. Not crooked, but, you know, slanting upwards a little bit. And I decided to kind of embrace that and go with it. And then I chopped off the bottom of the M to, you know, so I just like that look. You know, it looks like it should be a continuation of the paper or something. So anyway, I've done that. I really like how that looks. I like it when things go off the edges of cardstock is basically what I'm saying. Okay, so now I've already got this really busy looking layout with the different patterns in the collection all on show in the letters. So now I have to decide how much embellishment I'm going to do, because I would easily risk crowding this layout and making it look too busy and a bit kind of crazy. So I have to be careful with the amount of embellishments I use. I do love all the things, so this is a bit of a problem that I do tend to pile stuff onto the layout. But as I say, I could risk making it look too busy and too overcrowded. So I just need to get a careful balance. So I'm looking to create some clusters in different places. So I've got the little astronaut. He's so cute. Little astronaut bottom right between the O and the N, and I've stuck him there. I've raised him up on foam pads as well. I've got a few. Oh, and I had a problem. So at the bottom of my photo wasn't quite long enough, tall enough to go in aperture. It did fit, but it has, you can see the bottom edge of the photo, if that makes sense, and where the border starts. So actually it was a little bit awkward. I didn't like the look of it, so I just felt like I needed to cover up the bottom of my photo. So I've done that with some planets, and I've fussy cut them from the planet paper, and just put a few of those, and I'll raise those up on foam pads at the bottom. That covers up that edge that you really can see. It signifies the bottom edge of the photo. Okay, I've got a few stars that I've punched for a previous layout actually, and hadn't used. So I thought I would turn them into 3D stars, and that's just by scoring them from each point and then folding them. And they pop up and make these fabulous 3D stars. Got to be the easiest 3D embellishment you've ever made. I love the look of those. And then to attach those, I just put a foam pad in each point of the star, and then get that stuck down. So that is how I attach them. So I'm just going to make a few more of those. As I say, they'd already been cut or they're punch stars actually from a different layout. I made a layout a long time ago with loads and loads of stars all over it. So they're left over from there. So I'm just folding those ones as well. And I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to put them. I have a large red star as well. That was a die cut star that I cut from using a metal die. But it's one of the points is missing. It must have slipped when I cut it, which is why it didn't get used. And I wondered whether I can use that, but I think it's going to be too big. So I do toy with the idea of using that large red star at some point. But yeah. I don't end up using it actually. Okay, so still working on these stars. And I just don't quite know where to put them. Top right, at the letter E, I've put the one of the Bella Pops. Now, the Bella Pops are super cute. They are little tiny embellishments, well, they're not tiny, but they're very, very cute little embellishments that have details on them. So this particular one, the one with the dog in the space rocket, I just love. He is, they're normally layered, kind of layered stickers, and they have some enamel pieces on them as well. And then the rocket itself also came with a cloud, and something else I think as well. Yeah, super duper cute. Always really lovely to add those in because they are just adorable. So I've added that along with a sun, which is fussy cut, one of the clouds or two clouds, and a little diamond from the ephemera. I've also picked out a couple of constellations from the ephemera. I found these quite hard to use in the past. They never seem to fit anywhere. So actually what I did was I trimmed off the square part of one of the constellations, and that made it so much easier to use. So that was definitely a good shout for me. So I've done that. I've put those two at the top there. I've also pulled out the little heart that has a little planet, ring going around it, and that's going to go top right with that cluster with the Bella Pop too. And then I'm just nearly done. I'm just finishing off and getting everything stuck down. And I think I've got the balance okay. I think it's looking all right. I'm pretty happy with the little astronaut cluster down the bottom, and then the little Bella Pop spaceship cluster at the top right, and then I've just got another little cluster that kind of attaches to my photo. So at the bottom of my photo I've got the planets, and at the top of the photo I've got some stars. So I'm pretty happy with how that's all looking. Probably one cluster too many. Like I said, I can't help but just throw it all on. And then I just thought I would make my letters look a little bit more 3D by putting some white lines, kind of like bubbles, if you like, onto those. And I've done that with some of the planets as well, just to kind of bring them to life a little bit, really, make them look a bit more 3D rather than flat. So yeah, I'm just using a white pen for that. It's a Posca one, I think. Yes, Posca white. It's not particularly helpful, yeah, so that's what I'm using for that one. Yeah, just going to get that last heart stuck in place now because I'd forgotten to stick it down, and write my journaling in. So it's always nice to be able to write journaling onto a black background using that white pen. So I'm pleased that has come out okay. Yeah, that's it. That is me done. So I really hope that you have enjoyed that layout. It was a bit crazy. It's very busy, but that's the nature of having a cut file like this. It just end up being very busy. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing the cutouts. They're new to me because I've never used them before. But yeah, totally awesome. I'm sold. Okay, thank you so very much for joining me today. That was Niki Rowland for Bella Boulevard using To The Moon.